Imagine everything you see around you. The chair you're sitting on, the phone or laptop you're holding, even your own body. They all feel solid, real, and independent. We think of matter as tiny building blocks, atoms composed of particles like electrons and protons, the ultimate stuff of the universe. But what if that's not the real picture? What if matter, as real as it feels, is nothing more than disturbances, tiny ripples, in an invisible field that fills all of space? That's not science fiction. That's quantum field theory, the deepest framework we have for describing reality. The universe, in this view, isn't made of particles as little dots bouncing around in a void. Instead, the fundamental ingredients are invisible fields stretching across all of space and time. Think of the ocean. It's vast, continuous, and everywhere. Now imagine that sometimes little waves appear on its surface. These waves are not separate from the ocean. They're simply excitations of it. In quantum physics, matter itself is like those waves, ripples appearing in a sea of fields. Take the electron, for example. We think of it as a particle, a tiny charged dot orbiting an atom's nucleus. But in quantum field theory, the electron is actually an excitation of the electron field, which exists everywhere in the universe. The electron itself is simply a localized ripple in that field. The same goes for photons, quarks, and all the so-called particles of the Standard Model. Each particle is tied to its own field. No field, no particle. This idea flips our intuitive picture of reality upside down. You're not made of solid little marbles glued together. You're made of organized ripples, stable excitations, vibrations resonating through invisible fields that extend beyond the furthest galaxies. In a way, you're not separate from the universe. You're an active expression of it. But what are these fields, really? Let's start small. Picture a guitar string. Pluck it, and the vibration produces a note. The pitch of the note depends on how the string vibrates. The string itself is the medium, and the vibration is the expression. Now expand that idea. Instead of a string, the universe has invisible fields. Vibrations within those fields produce the notes we perceive as matter. Electrons, photons, protons, all are the music of the quantum fields. Quantum field theory doesn't just describe what exists, it predicts behavior with astonishing accuracy. For instance, the magnetic moment of the electron has been measured and calculated to match up to 12 decimal places. Nothing in the history of science has been so precise. If these fields weren't real, this level of accuracy would be impossible. And yet, the idea is almost unbearable to our everyday intuition. Fields that permeate empty space, ripples that become matter. It sounds absurd, but nature doesn't care about sounding intuitive. Reality is stranger than fiction. Think of the vacuum of space, what we casually call nothing. In quantum field theory, there is no true nothing. Even the vacuum is buzzing with activity. The fields never go away. Even when they seem to be at rest, they fluctuate with tiny, jittery excitations called quantum fluctuations. These fluctuations are so real that they've been measured in laboratories, showing us that the vacuum isn't empty. It's a seething sea of invisible energy. From this restless vacuum, particles can spontaneously pop in and out of existence. They don't come from nothing, but from the latent energy in the fields. That's why space itself is alive with potential, why empty space isn't really empty. If you were to strip the universe of all galaxies, stars, and matter, the fields would still remain, stretching infinitely, ready to ripple again. One of the most famous examples of such a field is the Higgs field. For decades, physicists theorized that there must be a special field giving mass to particles. Without it, everything would zip around at the speed of light, unable to clump into atoms or form stars, planets, and life. Then, in 2012, the Higgs boson was discovered at CERN's Large Hadron Collider, a particle that revealed the presence of the Higgs field. In other words, the field that makes matter heavy, that gives you weight, was confirmed. You're literally walking through the Higgs field every moment of your life. though you can't feel it. So, what does this mean for us? It means that reality isn't built from hard, indivisible particles as the ancient Greeks imagined. Instead, the universe is a dynamic, invisible fabric of fields, and we're part of its vibrations. The solidness of your body, the strength of the chair, the light streaming into your eyes, all of it is a symphony of excitations. You're not an outsider looking at the universe. You're the universe, rippling. Here's where it gets even stranger. These fields don't just exist here or there, they exist everywhere, simultaneously. The electron field that creates the electrons in your body is the same field that creates electrons inside the sun, or on the other side of the galaxy. They're not separate copies, they're the same field, which means at the deepest level, the matter inside you and the matter in distant stars is connected. They're expressions of the same universal medium. Think about that. When you touch your own hand, the electrons in your skin are excitations of the same field as the electrons a billion light-years away. Separation in the quantum field view is an illusion of scale. The universe is one continuous entity. But if fields are everywhere, can we say we're living inside them? The answer is yes, and more. We're not just living inside the fields. We are the fields. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, you're not separate from the quantum fields. You're their structure, their resonance, their self-organized music. And there's another twist. These fields, even in their quietest state, may hold the key to the greatest mystery of all: why the universe exists. Some physicists suspect that the vacuum energy of quantum fields drove the expansion of the early universe, creating the vast cosmic stage we now inhabit. Others think the fields might explain dark energy, the mysterious force accelerating the expansion of the cosmos today. If that's true, then the same invisible fields responsible for your body's existence are also steering the fate of the universe itself. Let's pause and reflect. When you look at the night sky, you see stars burning billions of miles away. They look distant, foreign. But in truth, the atoms in those stars and the atoms in you are ripples in the same universal fields. You're not just gazing at the cosmos. You're gazing at another expression of yourself. Our minds are wired to think of objects as solid, discrete, and independent. A rock is a rock. A person is a person. But quantum fields whisper a deeper story. There are no independent objects. There are only patterns of excitation in the fields, endlessly recombining, endlessly playing. And for a brief moment, those patterns arrange themselves into what we call you. This perspective is humbling, but also liberating. It means you're not a stranger in a cold universe. You're not an isolated fragment of matter, drifting meaninglessly. You're the universe, condensed into consciousness, a ripple aware of itself. And yet the mystery deepens. Why these fields? Why do they have the properties they do? Why do their excitations arrange themselves into galaxies, planets, and life? Quantum field theory is our best map of reality, but even it doesn't explain the origin of the fields themselves. It describes the music, but not the composer. Maybe the composer is beyond our reach. Or maybe, by continuing to study these fields, by peering deeper into the fabric of existence, we'll catch a glimpse of the underlying truth. Until then, we can marvel at the fact that the universe we inhabit is stranger, richer, and more interconnected than we ever imagined. So next time you touch your hand, feel the chair, or look at the stars, remember, you're not touching separate objects. You're feeling ripples of the fields. You're touching the universe itself. And perhaps, in the end, the most astonishing realization is this: the fields don't just surround us, they are us. Matter isn't solid, it's music. Reality isn't built from bricks, it's woven from waves. The cosmos is not a stage you stand upon, it's a symphony, and you are one of its notes. This is Beyond Newton, where we uncover the deepest mysteries of reality. If this journey through the invisible fields of the universe made you see the world differently, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can join us again as we explore the breathtaking truths hidden in the fabric of existence. Until next time, remember, you're not just in the universe. You are the universe.